All right, we're live.
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up?
Nothing. Enjoying coronavirus TV tonight.
Zach's got his pants going.
It's crazy out there.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Those are sold out everywhere here.
Yeah, this thing's worth. I could sell this on Amazon right now for like $60. This and some hand sanitizer and some toilet paper.
Jesus, man. Everything. It's like end of the world. Everybody's just going nuts.
I still
buying shit paper.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around the toilet paper stuff. Like, I know, if you're going to be quarantined for a couple weeks and you buy like 10 packs of toilet paper, like how much shitting are you planning on doing?
I hope they're buying enough food to actually use that toilet paper.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
I don't. Did you guys stock up on anything?
No, I mean, I should probably have bought some food. I'm regretting it now. But then I also think, like, my wife always keeps enough food around here to probably survive for, there's like so much food around here. We'll be all right.
Yeah, it's about the same with us. We stocked up on a couple little things just to stay out of the madness more than anything,
I had tickets tomorrow night to Sturgill Simpson. It's canceled.
Oh, man.
I had tickets Saturday to Harlem canceled.
The what?
Harlem Globetrotters had $5 tickets. I was going to take the kids, and it got canceled.
Wow. Yeah, I think they're playing around here a week or two. So
I mean, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's all right. No big deal.
Vance had tickets for 3 Pearl Jam shows, I think. All canceled. Yeah. He had flights and everything, the way it looked, watching him on Facebook, you know what I mean? So he's trying to, get everything canceled, and it's nuts. So
everything's screwed up. I heard right now you could get some really good deals on some airline tickets.
Yeah.
The cruise, you go on a cruise right now for like $50.
Yeah. If you don't mind wearing a hazmat suit the whole time.
Yeah, that's right. Full body condom.
Yeah.
Those are good ticket prices. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think in another couple weeks it'll probably clear out.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Well, if nobody's going out, I mean, if nobody's going anywhere, then I don't know how anybody's going to transmit anything.
Yeah. Hopefully just burn out. All right, well, let's jump into this and forget about that crap. Get away from it for a little while.
I know, that's all they've been hammering us with.
Oh, man. So thanks for joining us tonight, man. This is awesome.
This is fun. I'm this is really cool.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
George and I've been talking about doing this for a while. And like I said, we came across this StreamYard thing, and God, it can't be any easier. You know what I mean? You just click on a link and you're in, dude.
Yeah.
It was a lot easier than I would have thought.
Yeah. So we've been having a blast with it. And it looks like we can get, what'd you say, George, up to like 6 people in here?
I checked. It's definitely 6.
Yeah. So maybe we can get a couple extra people in here.
Be a mess.
Oh, yeah. It'll be nuts, but maybe 4 would be cool. You know what I mean?
It'll be like on the news when people are arguing with each other. Like, nobody can hear.
Fuck Sabbath.
Yeah, 6. I think we would be cutting each other off. You wouldn't hear what anybody's saying. I think at that point.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump in.
It would require one guy to shut up, and that's like never seems to.
Nah.
Yeah. So let's jump in. Usually we start out showing one record that we think everybody should at least hear if they don't have it in their collection. Yeah, should have it in their collection. So we each picked one. So you want to go first, Zach?
Why don't you go first? Because okay, wait a minute. Wait, I got it. I got it. Okay.
You good?
I've like been messing with my phone this whole time. Okay, here we go. I picked this record. This is the band Hawkwind.
Right on.
This record is called Fossil Latido. This is Hawkwind. Hawkwind was the band that, sorry, man, the glare on this is atrocious.
Sorry.
The band that Lemmy was in, Hawkwind, with a guy named Nick Turner. This was 70s. This is 1975 or 6 or something like that. This is on United Artists.
So that's towards the end of Lemmy.
This is a later one, so a lot of people kind of wouldn't necessarily like hear. And it doesn't have like a lot of times they had these kind of covers like this that were kind of like comic book, art or like. Oh man, they can't see shit. But yeah, kind of like kind of like fantasy art, that had like a lot of colors and stuff, and so that's kind of what they're known for. It almost looks like the He-Man, the Masters of the Universe kind of art
Right.
for it a lot of time. Anyway, yeah, this one's actually called Masters of the Universe. Kind of looks like Frank Frazetta or something.
Yeah, it does.
So, but yeah, that Fossil Do Re Mi Fossil Latido is a really, really cool record. I think people should hear it, and I don't know if that many people really do hear it.
I'm going to be honest. I think I have that, but I don't know if I've spun it yet. Because Hawkwind is one of those bands you never pass up when you come across it. You know what I'm saying? Especially the old ones. So I don't know if I've spun that yet, but I'm pretty sure I have a copy of it. Definitely.
I love Hawkwind, but I love prog. I love 70s rock a lot and stuff. And so if you're into prog and 70s rock, but like I say, Lemmy was in this band, so Motorhead to me is like a band like ACDC. It's like, is that metal or is that just like Motorhead or ACDC?
Right. They're hard to.
ACDC's metal. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Those are two bands that are
at one time. Maybe they were. I don't know.
Those are two bands that are hard to kind of peg. But they're both loved by the metal scene. Hell, Misfits are loved, or Motorhead's loved by the punks too. You know what I mean? So
so is AC/DC back in the.
That's true. Yeah, in London and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel the same way about the Misfits and the Ramones too, man. It's like, that's punk, or is that? I don't think so. But then, when you listen to something for a long time, it's just like, I'm like, no, man, that's just that band. And
right.
There's no other band that really sounds like Kiss. There's no other band that really sounds like Iron Maiden. Not really. That's just that band.
Right. And plus,
you listen to it enough. I mean,
over time, stuff changes too. Like, I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was working with a younger guy. He's like a beer guy. He goes around traveling, store to store. So this young guy's like, hey, check this band out. It's some new band. I can't remember the name of it. And he goes, this is hardcore. You ever heard of hardcore? And my friend's like my age. He was into the DC hardcore scene, in the 80s, and knows all that shit. And, he's like, dude, this isn't hardcore. It's just like screamo, new, but he tried to explain to the dude, he's like, this is Minor Threat and Bad Brains. That's hardcore. And the guy's like, well, I've heard of them, but I've never heard them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
to him, what he was listening to was hardcore.
Right.
But it's not.
He doesn't understand. He doesn't know Minor Threat is hardcore. See, they're not going to.
Right. It's all.
Right. They're not
age. Yeah.
It's, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
The shit that is like modern black metal hardcore, I'm listening to it like, nah, man.
Yeah, not for me. Yeah.
Not for me. I mean, there's some of it I've heard. I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting, but
yeah,
mostly not really.
But you know how big of a metalhead I am, and I can't even hardly deal with new modern metal. It just doesn't do anything for me, So it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm old, and I just accept that.
Exactly.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm fine with it, man. I've got plenty of music to listen to, man. It's fine.
Exactly, and that's what I said. It's okay if I don't dig the brand new band. I got a million bands that I missed.
I'm good, man.
Yeah, so I'm still digging through the past, trying to find shit I missed.
Yeah, you're discovering a band from you never heard of from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm getting to where I'm like, one of the guys in my band, he's older than me. I'm 42. He's like 47. He's like, I don't really listen to new stuff. I was like, well, that song's 20 years old.
Yeah.
That's not new, man. That's 20 years old.
What do you got, George?
It looks like Corey's in here. He in the comments there.
Oh, really?
Shit, I didn't even see.
Corey.
What's up, Corey?
Man?
What do I have? I got more of a not as metal-y or proggy, but I got Total 13 from the Backyard Babies.
Dude, I almost pulled that out. I swear to God, yeah.
What is that? Total 13?
Hey, let me hold on one sec. Total 13.
It's the Backyard Babies is the name of the band.
Yeah. This is their second album. They had a record, I swear it was like 8 years before this album.
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't like. It was out in
Diesel and Power. Was that the name of that album?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I didn't like that record, but I remember reading in like Kerrang or Metal Forces or something back in 91 or 92 how great this album was.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting the record and I was like, it's okay. It's nothing great.
Mm.
And then I remember when this came out.
That was a game changer.
Yeah, but I was like, I heard their first album. I'm not going to bother. And then, because I think this was like I guess the internet was around, but downloading stuff took forever to download back then when this album came out. So
what is that? 98, 99?
98, yeah.
98. Have you ever heard them, Zach?
Never.
Yeah,
Never
they're like Swedish. I don't know. They're Swedish glam punk. This album, anyway.
They're like a very sonic kind of thing, if that makes sense, but they still have kind of hooks and melodies.
Yeah, the singer's. I think the singer's real reminiscent of Mike Ness from Social Distortion.
Yeah, he's got that going on.
Oh, cool. So did that just recently get reissued, or was it original?
No, this is an OG one. This is original pressing.
They're a little tough.
Yeah, this is real hard.
Little tough. Final in '98.
This is the UK, or I guess UK. But I think there actually is a US pressing of this out there.
I'm not sure what my pressing is.
It came out like a year and a half after this pressing did.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because they had done that tour with the Yo-Yos and the Backyard Babies had come through.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the tour did well because the album came out here after. So
now, have you ever heard you've heard the Helicopters, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, I mean, Zach.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Tregan, that guy laying on the ground there with his shoe off, was the original guitar player in the Helicopters. He was playing in both bands. So Dragon was with the Helicopters when they were starting out more punky, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he was on the first 3 records, I think.
Okay, that's making sense to me.
Yeah, so
I mean, this is what I love, man. I love this, learn about records I knew nothing about.
Yeah, he's definitely on Super Shitty to the Max, and he's definitely on Paying the Dues. Now, I don't know what the third album was, but they also did like, I don't know, 2 or 3 compilations. I think it's 2 compilations of, I don't know, 30 songs on each disc that were never released or released as 7 inches or whatever.
Now that band, Backyard Babies, I always lump together with the Helicopters and the Wild Hearts.
Yeah,
those 3 bands kind of are all. If you dig like the Helicopters or the Wild Hearts, you're going to dig Backyard Babies. So.
Yeah, they were all working together at this time anyway.
Yeah.
Like Ginger from the Wild Hearts, I think, might have produced a couple tracks and then did like backing vocals and guitar work on one of the singles. And
they're still around. They just put an album out, last year?
Yeah, probably about a year ago. Yeah. If that.
That's a cool pick, man.
It's a good record too.
Yeah. Well, I picked The Mountain by Steve Earle. And
does that have the
I was born on this mountain. Mountain's my home.
That's it, brother.
What was the single off that one?
Oh, I don't even know. Well, this is more of the
it's with Del McCoury.
Yeah, it's like the bluegrassy kind of album. I don't know if there was actually a single on here, but every goddamn song on this thing is awesome. Yeah, Texas Eagle, Yours Forever Blue. I'm sure you have this, Zach, right? On
Not
CD
on
or
vinyl.
something. Yeah.
On CD, not on vinyl.
This is actually a reissue. It was floating around, so I got it pretty cheap.
I need to get it. There's a moment on that where his son, Earle, is just a kid in that when they made that, and he's like talking to his son. He's like, "Hey, you want to be in the band? You got to wear your hat."
Yeah, that's a great.
Hat on,
yeah,
you know what I'm talking.
Right.
And that when I just went to see Steve Earle recently, right by my house, I went to see him, and the guy in the crowd kept yelling, "Put your hat on! Put your hat on!" Because he says that in that album.
Oh man, I love '90s Steve Earle. Just when he kind of stripped down a little bit there in the '90s, he was doing a lot of acoustic solo shows and all that, which he might still do.
Cocaine too.
Yeah,
I think a little bit after that,
or was it right before? I think right when he got out of prison.
Is that right? When he made all those albums? When he
I think he started stripping everything down and got back to like just a lower key thing. And man, it was just I saw him with, he opened up for Sean Colvin, and it was just him and a guitar at the Wolf Trap down around DC. And it was just her and her guitar and another dude on guitar.
That was like 4 years ago, or
no, that was like shit, dude, 90.
Oh, that was in the 90s.
Maybe right around 2000, 2001.
About 4 years ago, he made an album with her.
Really? I didn't know that. I haven't kept up with him.
He made an album with Sean Colvin about 4 years ago. But he probably goes way back with her. I don't know.
Aaron wants to know, how's it going, you dirty sons of bitches?
What's up, dude? Oh, damn, we got Eric's in here.
Yeah, Eric
in the van.
Hey,
Eric wants to know if the guy on the front of the Backyard Babies album just fell, or if that's his now. This is relaxing pose. That I would say that's his relaxing pose. And Vinyl in the van. What's up? Hey, he said, "Hey, fellas, what's up?"
Hey, Jay, what's going on?
Said Zeke and Greeno geeking out over Steve Earle. George looks kind of bored.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a Steve Earle fan. I like that one record.
Yeah. Copperhead Road, that one.
Oh, dude, that's such a great song.
So he has to play that. He plays it third song every set because he's got to get it out of the way.
Yeah, just be done with it.
That's his hit.
Honestly,
like,
that's
everybody
all.
Wants to hear it.
That's all I really know of him. Is that Copperhead Road song?
Oh, dude!
And when they play it live, it's so easy. They push a button that does the fucking bagpipe part, you know.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it, they're like, they're looking bored. Like I can play this in my sleep, you know.
Well,
they got to do it.
With Steve Earle, it was back in the day. It was like my buddy that listened to him and Jason and the Scorchers. They were like two of his favorite.
Yeah.
And I could only pick one, and I went with the Scorchers. So Steve Earle just didn't. The stuff he played for me, I'm going back almost 30 years now, but the stuff that he played was like that Thunderhead Road, I think, was out at that time, or right around that time.
That stuff's cool. That stuff's cool, but if you kind of check him out, like that late 90s stuff when he was doing acoustic stuff, it's very cool. And he's a killer storyteller. That's what I like about him.
He intrigues the shit out of me. Like, I don't listen to his music, but anytime the guy's on TV or an interview, I got to sit and watch him.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of those guys that I may not like him. Not that I don't even like him. I just never listen to him.
Right.
I could love it, but I just never listen to it. But it's one of those guys that if you don't listen to, but he's still kind of, when you see him in an interview or on TV, not that he's on TV that much, but like YouTube clips, you're like, man, this guy's fucking interesting. I'm going to watch this interview.
Yeah.
And you know who does that too is Marilyn Manson for some odd reason for me. I hate his music. Like I like that white album one where he's like the alien on the front. Dope Show was the single off that. That album had a real Bowie-esque type feel to it.
Mm.
But anything else I've never really cared for. But he's one of those guys.
Does remind me of Bowie a little bit.
What's that?
He does have a Bowie quality. Marilyn Manson is a little bit Bowie-ish.
Oh yeah, but that record, I can't remember the name of it. I think it came out in like 98, 99.
I know what you're talking about. He looks like an alien on the cover.
Yeah.
But that album throughout the whole album is like really like it's kind of him, but like with touches of 70s glam, and I just like that record a lot.
Never listened to it. Now I kind of want to hear it.
Yeah, it's cool. I got to revisit it, but I remember when it came out, I was managing the record store, and one kid that worked for me there, he put it on. I'm like, dude, don't put that shit on. And the first track was Dope Show, or I Don't Like the Drugs, but the Drugs Like Me.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. How come you didn't do that the whole fucking time? That last album sucked, man.
Eric Bauer says, hate to tell you, but the 90s was almost 30 years ago.
I know, that's scary, dude. I was thinking about that the other night.
It was just yesterday. It's fine.
It feels like yesterday. That's why it's fine.
All right, man. So we're starting a new thing. I don't know what we're calling it yet or whatever, but we're going to show you like one boot in
the ass.
There you go.
Our boot in the ass segment.
Boot up your ass.
Boot it up, man. Go ahead, Zach.
So because you mentioned this, I also did a Hawkwind bootleg. I don't really collect bootlegs. I just pick them up when I get a chance, and I've got this one. This is from 1985 at Hammersmith Odeon or whatever, however you say it.
Right on.
And this is really cool. There's they play like one song for like a half an hour. So it's like a big, long, ridiculous space jam.
How's the recording? Is it like
it's a good quality, and that's one of the reasons why I don't buy boots, because I'm like, I'm gonna bring it home and it's gonna sound like shit. It's gonna sound like it was recorded in somebody's pocket, and I don't want to spend like $50 on it,
Yeah.
So I've always been scared of them. Now when I get a chance, I usually do pick them up, but I never did in the past. I was just like worried that it wouldn't sound good.
I was kind of the same way. I never, like, George has a massive boot collection, but probably over the last 2-3 years.
I regret not picking them up.
I've just kind of really started getting into it here lately, because right now, man, it's crazy the amount of stuff that they're pumping out, and they're doing the packaging and everything.
That's what hooks
really
me.
Nice. Yeah. They don't look like the old ones. There's a charm to those old ones when it's just a white sleeve with a mimeograph thing glued on it. But at the same time, these new ones are like, God damn, this looks better than the last official album. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't like that shit, because that record store days fucking full of bootlegs, man. Like all that stuff, those are all bootleg. Then you get it, you're like, this looks really, really professionally done. Like this has got nice art, cover art, and it's all like printed nice. Then you get it, and you're like, it actually doesn't sound that good.
Yeah,
so it's almost like sometimes they're kind of like fooling you with that. I don't like that. I would rather it be one of the shitty like blank white label ones, and then like who knows.
Yeah, I kind of look for the soundboard recordings or FM shows. I kind of stick to those. Yep. If it's an audience recording, usually I'll pass on those. So
right.
But what'd you pull out, George?
Oh, I gotta turn around again. This is one of my favorite boots, and I figured I'd show it first since it's one of my favorite ones. I got to open it because it's a gatefold. But Greeno knows my favorite band is ACDC.
You might want to go full screen there, brother.
Yeah, hold on one sec.
That's awesome. Rocking for Boston.
Yeah, rocking for Boston. This from the 78 show that I think it was a radio broadcast, but
right.
This long play, and I think this is the red vinyl one.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
But
hey, George, you have that the ACDC Live in Atlantic Records or whatever on vinyl. I know.
Oh yeah. You
got that. I want that so bad.
I got it.
I have a copy.
I really want to get that. And
I got it, like, believe it or not, like when I was a kid, I got it.
Are those going for money?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, big money now. Yeah,
holy
pretty
shit.
big money.
Yeah, they started
a local store that had one, and the guy wanted like some insane amount of money for it.
Wow.
I really wanted it, but I just didn't want it. Was like over $200.
No shit.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
It was like stupid ass money. I was like, oh man, I really don't want to pay that. But
well, who all did they do that with? ACDC and Detective, and wasn't there one other one?
They were the only two I knew of.
I was thinking there was a third one, but I can't remember.
There might have been, but I just remember seeing the ACDC and Detective ones.
Huh.
But this thing's like limited to 500.
No, that's awesome.
And it's on that. I don't know, Greeno, if you remember about 6-7 years ago, that label was cranking these LPs out.
I don't know what was the name of it? I can't remember.
I want to say Swinging Pig or something like that. Yeah, Swinging Pig. But they were doing all these like gatefold and color vinyl, and the cover on this one just hooked me. And I knew like the Boston show is one of those pretty widespread bootlegs, you know what I mean? There's a lot of them out there, but I don't give a shit. I buy shit over and over again when it comes to ACDC. If it has,
yeah,
when it's anything else, I probably wouldn't. But
you have all the Australian. You got every Australian copy and all that stuff.
Yeah, I got.
Of course, you gotta have those.
Dude, what was it about 7-8 years ago? You did a video on your ACDC stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like.
I haven't seen it.
It's pretty massive, man.
It was like, it was crazy, and that was, geez, man. I should probably update it because I've gotten so much more like bootleg and all that stuff since. But
I hate those kind of videos though, then because then it gives me like real bad. And then I want to go like I'm like I gotta get all those now. And then
I know.
Start getting crazy.
Hey, Bit Bop Boom's in here, John. He said
Hey, John.
that ACDC was from Boston. What year did you say?
Yeah,
78?
78. That's my favorite. My favorite tour is the Power Age tour. So
Right on.
anything from that era for me, even if it's an audience, I grab it.
Well, I've been I was telling George I've been picking up so many bootlegs lately, and I just kind of follow them with everything else. And I got to the point was like, man, I want to make a bootleg section. So I went through and pulled everything out, you know, made a section on the shelves.
I want to know how many.
Well, I think I'm around 200, something like that.
Wow.
But going through, I'm like, damn, I forgot about this. Yeah, I had a couple old ones in there I totally forgot about, and this was one of them. So I had to spin it. I haven't spun it forever. It's from '84. It's a radio show, Rat.
Oh shit!
This is the only Rat bootleg I've ever seen, man. And
Yeah.
I probably had this for 15 years or something.
It's called The Year of the Rat.
Yeah, and that's what was cool about some of these old, boots from the '80s. Like this is from, I think it was put out in '85. The show's from '84,
But
totally nothing to do with Rat. I mean, Rat would never have a cover like that or anything.
No.
You know? But it's just, I don't know. It's pretty good, and it sounds.
That's kind of what makes it so cool, though.
Yeah, and it's got the old, nothing on them except somebody wrote, side A, side B kind of thing on it. But they were opening for Twisted Sister on this tour because they mentioned them a few times. But what's cool about this boot, like I said, it sounds pretty good, but man, they are ripping through every song. Like they're just, you can tell they're amped up and everything. Like every song is about 30 seconds shorter than it normally is. You know what I mean? They're just rolling through, and they sound great, man.
That's
Fucking
awesome.
false advertisement, man. What's he talking about? Oh, the cover of the Rat.
wow. Yeah, I have a few Metallica boots from that era. That
Yeah, I
have,
have-
like, the same artwork on it almost.
Really? Yeah, I have.
Well,
I
like
have
the same layout.
yeah, a lot of them would use like the other two Rat. I think I've seen online. I've never seen in person. Kind of have similar layout. Probably the same people
Yeah.
doing them.
It's like a kid in his college dorm making those or something.
Yeah, dude, I remember them back in the '80s. Going to record stores, that would sell them, and they were expensive then. You were looking $25-$30 back then. So, I never bid on them because, like you said, you didn't know what you were getting. It was some dude recording it in his pocket.
I didn't have the money. I couldn't afford it. Like if you spent $30 and it sounded like crap, it was like that was like a massive disappointment.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I think $30 was a lot of money, whatever.
I remember being pissed when you spend $8 on some band you never heard of, and you get home and it's terrible.
Still
Yeah.
pissed.
I still do.
Still
it.
mad about it.
I'm like, wait a minute, let me listen to some more samples online.
Anything else going on? I didn't know if we were going to show anything we've been checking out or.
I'm trying to think what
Well,
you been listening to?
Okay, so not so much just listening, but like my dealer, my main dealer, he's also my friend. Steve. He owns a really cool shop. He owns a shop here in Norfolk, Virginia, called Skinnies Records, and it's like a punk and metal store. It's been there since 1988, and he recently, him and my buddy Johnny, who's a big metalhead, Johnny's a big Ramones nut and stuff. Anyway, so they got this call from this old lady, and her son had died in the 90s, and he was a record collector. So this is almost like a treasure trove of records. They go back to the house, and his bedroom's been hermetically sealed since 1991, right? And the guy had all these Japanese pressings and all these MoFi copies and stuff. And he had just all this kind of crazy, audio file quality stuff, and some of it was 90s stuff. And I just kind of went nuts on this because, he had all these records, and I was just like, oh man, I kind of
Wow, man.
He had all these 90s records and stuff, or he just had all kinds of crazy stuff, and I was like, man, I kind of gotta buy this stuff because I don't know when I'll see it again. You know?
That's the shit you buy when you see it, because like you said, you never know when you're going to see it again.
Yeah, and I mean, some of them, I was just like, man, they just sound amazing, and you got this rainbow Japanese. It's like, it's like a perfect copy. I got like a UFO one, and I got some King Crimson ones, and
wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, it was just like this is like my copy of this record was like a thrift store copy, This is just perfect. I mean, this was blowing me away yesterday. I was listening to something. Yeah, so like, of course I've heard all these records a million times, but they're just like perfect sounding copies.
Yeah.
Some of them, like, I was amazed, like I got this Blind Faith record. Let me see. It's like in a bag still, and I don't do this. I don't keep sealed records. I listen to records,
Yep, same here.
I got the record, and the thing is in a bag, and it's worth like insane money. It's worth like stupid money. I don't know if this is gonna get like censored, but it's the one with the naked girl,
Yeah.
This is like a Mo-Fi, blah blah. Anyway, and it thing's worth like stupid money, and I'm like, I can't even open it.
Yeah,
I hate that. But anyway, that's what I've been listening to.
That's killer. Hey, give me 1 second.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now you've been listening to all the Japanese stuff now since you got it?
Well, I mean, since I got it, but like honestly, like I hadn't really listened to this Rainbow record in a long time.
Right.
And then, like whenever I listen to Deep Purple or Rainbow or something, I'm always like, this is so fucking great. Whenever I listen to Sabbath, I'm like, this is so great. I don't really listen to that stuff all the time, But you forget just like, I mean, I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'll
It's
always
funny.
love all that.
It's funny how you can not listen to a certain album for 10 years or 11 years and you pop it on and it's just, you still remember every word, or it's like you haven't.
Dude, that happened to me with Nevermind from Nirvana.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I got a copy of it. I got a copy of like a perfect mint copy of it.
Really?
It's worth like stupid ass money.
Wow, that's awesome, man. But I picked up the reissue.
I hadn't listened to it in forever. I hadn't heard it in forever,
That's the same with me, because it got so overplayed. It was like, I never, ever need to hear anything off this record again. And then I picked up that reissue, and I thought, I better spin it. I picked it up, you know what I mean? Because I wanted to have it for the collection. And as soon as the needle dropped, I sat there and listened to both sides. And just, it was like an old friend come in the room. It sounds stupid, but it was like, wow, it was a great album at the time, And again, I probably don't need to hear it on the radio again, but it was fun listening to that vinyl that day.
Well, I just picked up the reissue of Metal Church's Human Factor, and that was the same thing. Like, I popped it on last Friday when I got it.
Yeah.
Like, Hate with Poverty, such an amazing song.
Hey, I pulled something real quick, if you don't mind, because John and Aaron was talking about it. Can you go full screen?
For you?
Yeah.
Yep. Hold on 1 sec. We need an editor, live director.
Is this what you guys were talking about? The Metallica boot?
Oh, the V Death Mission boot.
Yeah.
I remember that. That's exactly like, what, 86, 87 that came out?
It says 86. It was Castle Donington 85.
Yeah. Dude,
it was funny. They mentioned it in the comments there. I was like, I got that. I'll pull it out real quick.
Do you remember going to record shows back then? Like, I don't know how big in your area the record, like, put it this way, once a year they would have a huge one here on Thanksgiving weekend, and it was like 2 floors of a convention center. That's how big it was.
Wow.
I used to work it. I used to set up all the tables and for the promoters and stuff. And that Metallica record you just had.
Yeah.
I remember like 86, 87 walking through when I was done on my stuff and guys were setting up and going through boxes of Metallica records and seeing those.
Yeah.
But like the guys had like 50 other ones.
Right. Like, yeah, there was a ton of Metallica floating around back then.
It's like, holy shit, man. I can't imagine where all those things are now.
What's that?
Yeah, I wish I'd bought all those Metallica things.
That's the thing. I wish I'd have bought all those boots back then, even though we knew it was a 50-50 shot. But man, some of that stuff is impossible to find now. You know what I mean?
Did you ever think, like, when the bootleg, I mean, when you saw at a convention people selling bootleg cassettes?
Yeah.
You bought them. You'd be like, why would I buy vinyl when I could buy the cassettes for like $6 each?
I was never a cassette guy. I never
No,
bought
okay.
cassettes.
See, I bought a lot. I bought a lot.
A ton of I had tons of cassettes.
Yeah,
Listened to them all the time. You know?
Really?
I couldn't fathom the thought
They
of
were
like
cheap. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't have any money. Like I was, you know.
Yeah.
spending $40 like for that one Metallica record, or spending 40 on like, I don't know, 6 or 7 bootleg tapes, you know.
Yeah.
But now I'm kicking myself. I wish I picked up more of it, because I just remember some of the artwork on. They were like that Dungeons and Dragons shit.
Cassettes lately, like people seem like they like cassettes and want them.
Yeah, I don't get it,
man. They can. It was a cool. I mean, I had tons of recorded, like I have recorded stuff on too, but I just never bought store-bought cassettes. You know what I mean? If I was going to buy something, I would have preferred to have it on vinyl or CD. But it was a cool format to have in your car and all that, but I never trusted it. You know what I mean?
LJ had a shit ton of cassettes.
He still does.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sure he has some really cool ones. You know?
That's all the stores around here sell them, man. I mean, it's a big thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine are still boxed away for I don't know, the past 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I went
such
through
a cool like time capsule to pull out a box of cassettes, you know, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Like, wow. You know?
Well, my oldest son, he found them upstairs. He's like, "Can I go through these?" I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead." And then I'm sitting there with them, going through the tapes with them, you know, giving them the story about where I got them or what they sounded like, or
I think the tapes are a little bit of an age thing too, because like George, you're what, a couple years younger than me, and Zach, you're about 10 years younger than me. So
yeah, I'm 42.
Yeah, I'm 51. So
yeah,
I'm 48.
So I think I don't know. It was something I think with maybe a little bit more with the generation or a little bit younger than me, I think.
The reason I started collecting, when I started collecting vinyl was totally passe. You know, like vinyl was completely out of fashion, and that's why I collected, because it was dirt cheap. It was ridiculously cheap.
Yeah, I love those days.
It was cheaper than cassettes.
Yeah.
You know what I think now is, I think the CD, what a CD is today is kind of what vinyl was when I was in high school. You know,
I keep telling people, man, don't dump your CDs. I'm telling you, it's all going to come back around.
Dude, I'm seeing it at the shop right now.
I'm telling you, man, because the reason vinyl come back was it was so cheap. All of these kids were exploring it, going to flea markets, and then it exploded. Same thing's going to happen with CDs, man. I think. So, but you see people all the time. Yeah, I'm collecting vinyl again. I don't want these CDs. It's like, yeah, you're crazy, man. So
I still pick up CDs all the time for nothing, you know, and a lot of times I love the liner notes. I mean, they sound good, but I mean, everybody's got their thing. I get it, but I can't leave a CD, because when I was a kid, a CD was like $25-$30.
Right.
So if I see it for a quarter, I'm like, I can't leave this here. I gotta buy this.
Right.
Compulsion, you know. I'm like, I have to buy this. I don't want to leave it.
Yeah.
We see
especially things you can't find on vinyl. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see boxes and boxes of CDs every day that come into the shop every day. And now, I mean, we turn away quite a bit, but
what is a CD worth now if you're buying a CD from somebody?
Right now, we tell people, like, you can bring them in. We're not paying much, but you know, if it's something special, we don't rip anybody off. We'll tell them straight up, like, this one's, you know, we'll even look it up with them there and let them know how much it's going for an average. But
I mean, a common CD is what, 25 cents?
Yeah, 50 cents probably.
50 cents. Probably.
Yeah, and then if it has one little blemish on it, we don't even bother.
Yeah,
don't bother. Nah,
there's no point, because we're seeing so many of them. Why bring in any little blemishes? You might as well just sell. You know, you got to be picky. So you might as well pick and choose the best stuff. You know.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Bye bye, guys. My sons are sneaking in.
Yeah, CDs were as bad as vinyl, man. I go to flea markets, somebody be selling all their CDs. You open them up, it's like, Jesus Christ, what did you do? Like, play these things with gravel or what, man?
Well, it's like, did you like lube yourself up with KY jelly and lay all over this thing?
Well, honestly,
Jesus.
I was listening to one of my own CDs earlier, and it was like trashed, and I was like just really disgusted with myself. It was like, what was I like doing when I?
Dude, my wife just stacks them, tosses them in the car somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then she'll pull one out and go to play it, and it'll skip or whatever. She'll pull it out and be like, lick it and stick it back in. I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, that's mom spit. That fixes everything. And half the time it'll start working again. I'm like, oh my God.
You got a point. That's true. I've heard
The first
that
time
too.
I saw her do that, I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you looking at the CD?
That's you just discovered the cure for coronavirus.
Yeah.
Might not want to do that now.
Yikes.
But yeah, we first started seeing each other. I was just like, you got to fix your CD stuff, man. Because she would just have stacks of them like jammed. And
with the Eric is saying that a CD player is going to be worth a bunch of money. I'm sure that is true. Like a good CD player is probably going to be worth a ton of money. You know, you won't be able to find them. Yeah,
it got to the point where it was like, can you even buy a CD player like at Walmart or anything? Because
I don't think so.
DVD players played them, right? And everybody was like, oh, well, DVD players play them. We just use that.
Yeah.
So, but I probably have like 4 or 5 of them squirreled away here. You know what I mean? Just shelved on I got 2 in the stereo rack, but I got 2 or 3 more on a shelf sitting collecting dust just in case.
I mean, they're not strictly necessary, but neither is vinyl, really. I mean, I think they're kind of a cool thing, you know, in their own right, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't buy too many anymore. To be honest, I don't go digging that much anymore. But I didn't have any problem.
I get them because my buddy Steve throws them in because he can't sell them.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, hey, can I have the CD? He'll be like, sure. You know, while I'm buying vinyl, I get free CDs because.
There you go.
I mean, so it's like I'll just pick it up, then I'll listen to it on the way home, and you know, I still like enjoy that. So hey, you know,
yeah,
it's a win-win for me. You know.
All right. Well, usually when we have somebody join us on here, kind of just talk to them about their history. So, like, when did you get into music, Zach? And like, how did you get going into all this? And I'm assuming it's been a lifelong thing.
Well, it has been, but not really. Like puberty, I would say more because like when I was a little kid, I didn't really care about music. I mean, a little bit, kind of, but I wasn't. My family didn't listen to music, and I wasn't. You know, I was probably like maybe I was probably about 12 or whatever, and then I had a little tape deck, like a little $30 tape deck thing, and I used to listen to tapes over and over again. I got obsessed with Led Zeppelin, and I was about 11 years old or whatever. And then I had it. My brother had the Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction tape, and we listened to that till the paint wore off of it. You know.
Yeah.
The first CD I ever bought was Back in Black. I'm trying, like it's like really hard to even. I the first cassette I ever bought was, the ACDC Razor's Edge cassette.
That's cool.
I was a little kid. We were playing football in the mud, and I left the game. It was really fun. It was mud football. And I left the game, and I rode my bike in town, and I bought the Razor's Edge on cassette. And I brought it home, and it had this like smell, like cassettes used to smell a certain way.
Yeah,
it smelled like plastic, and it was like they put crack in the plastic, or I don't know what, And then I like brought it home, and I was like sniffing the cracked plastic, and then I was just like, and there was just like, "You've been thunderstruck." What happened? And then like here I am.
Wow.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
So when you got back into vinyl, I mean, did you pretty much jump right onto YouTube then, or were you back into it before you started doing YouTube? Because I remember when you first started, like it's been interesting watching you because you were like all about like, man, you can buy vinyl so cheap, and you were picking up all this stuff. And then watching you, it was like you went from like finding cheap vinyl to Jesus, man, he's picking up like obscure stuff, and really you built like a hell of a collection of not
Well,
flea market
and
stuff.
it actually kind of scares me now because I just got all these Japanese and MoFi pressings that are all like a fortune. You know?
Right. You weren't showing that when you first got on YouTube.
Not at all, you know. And now I'm kind of like, okay, now I've gotten to this place where it's like, it's not even fun to like, if everything's crazy expensive, it's not even fun anymore, you know. So I've always liked to pick up dollar records and stuff, and I still do. And obviously, I would love to find everything. My dream has always been and will always be that I'll just like go to a, garage sale and it'll just be like a box after box of like every dream record, every $1,000 record you've ever wanted. Then they'll all be like, and then you talk to the old lady, she'll be like, you can have all of these for $2.
Right.
You'd be like, swing. No. And you quickly whip out your cat. And that's my dream, you know, and I'm sure it's every collector's dream, but I don't know. I mean, that's fewer and fewer, but then again, I'm on some thrift record groups and stuff on Facebook, and people find great records in thrift stores all the time. People are constant. And to me, that's a big part of it, because if I see records anywhere, I'm kind of like, I have to look through those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because like, who knows what's in there? I got to find out what's in there, you know?
I kind of gave up, to be honest, the digging stuff, man. Cause it was just like the last 3-4 years. It's just so dry around here. Like you can go out 10 times and maybe find one cool record and you're still going to pay for it at a shop. Yeah. But like you go to, I don't know, man. It's not like it was.
We lost him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he just kicked out. I don't know.
He might have having trouble connecting.
He's coming back.
Well, I just got something pop up.
Sorry about that. I just fell off the stage somehow. I don't know how that happened. Greeno, you were saying that you have stopped digging so much because you're not coming up with stuff all the time anymore.
Yeah, just between that and if you do see something cool in a shop anymore, everybody's hip to it now, and everybody wants $1 million for everything. It's just crazy prices. And I go to flea markets though. We used to go to flea markets and find killer shit, yeah. But the last year or so of doing that, it was just dry. It was like, you know.
I mean, it probably reaches a point where it's not worth your time. Because if you're always digging for records and you're not listening to records, like what?
That's part of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're not finding stuff and you're spending a bunch of time and then not coming up with anything anyway, and I mean, and I have little kids, and it's kind of like I can't just like neglect my kids to go look for records all the time.
Right.
But I mean, man, if you got a lot of records anyway, I mean, you know, I could try just listening to them too. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll be honest, that was part of my reasoning for pulling back from the VC. It was like, I'm spending so much time doing this and chasing stuff, and somebody's, hey, you need to check this and that. And it's like, I'm not spending enough time listening to stuff. You know what I mean? And I haven't made videos in over 2 years, and I still have a massive, just in pile to go through.
Yep.
So, of stuff to listen to.
So and actually, I mean, I love the VC and I miss it in a way, and I'm enjoying doing this, doing it, once a week, once every couple weeks, but I don't miss that, making videos all the time. And I've definitely dove back more into my collection and enjoying listening more now. It almost became like hey, somebody just showed this crap. Where can I find that? I need a copy of that. It's keeping up and everything. You know what I mean? It's
like compulsion, man. It can be too much.
Fear.
And if there's like hundreds of people making videos, it's like, I can't just full-time watch video.
Exactly.
Look, I was deployed for 6 months. I didn't have any records. I had nothing. All I had was my phone, and I watched videos every single night.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I barely saw a fraction of all the videos that were out there to see that I would have liked, because there's just not enough hours in the day.
The VC's just huge now. I assume it's still growing.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Hey, George, is there a way to get rid of that second? Looks like Zeke's on here twice.
Am I?
Nah, he's good on our end. On my end,
I see 4 on my end.
Hold on one sec.
Wow.
Nah, we're good.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Yeah, it's like divided up, and it's got Zeke in two of them, and one of them's just spinning.
Nah, he's good on.
Okay.
We're good on this end.
All right, that's cool.
Aaron asked if this room is bigger than the Grown Man Record Night Studios, and it's comparable, Aaron, for sure.
You were on there, right? You went out and hung with the guys. I remember watching.
Oh man, it was just fantastic. I went on Grown Man Record Night, and it was so much fun.
Right
it was
on.
Awesome. This is fun too. I'm so glad you guys are doing this. And when I saw this, I was like, "This is a cool idea. This podcast thing is a cool idea."
It's kind of telling George, I think this is like the next step for the VC. I hope more people do it. You know what I mean?
Probably is, man, because the old school, there's like conventions of the VC, and they kind of don't really work that well. You know, the conventions of the VC are like you say, like, you know, you start making videos, and then you start having people that are watching your videos, and then you're interacting with those people. Then it becomes addictive. Then it's a compulsion. Then you're doing it all the time and all the time. And then you're like always showing new stuff because they're always showing new stuff. Then you always want the stuff. You like see that stuff. And you're like, that's really cool. I like that. Then you go buy. It just becomes this kind of impetus to just buy more and more records. But I mean, I've listened to some records and I'm like, I didn't even know I had this. Or I'm like, I didn't even remember what this sounded like. Because
right. I do that shit all the time.
Yeah. You know, it's like I could just dig for records on my own shelves and be, you know. And even records I've heard a lot. I haven't heard them in a long time, you know. So
yeah, you can almost just shop in your own collection anymore. You know what I mean? I can come down here in the music room and just, it's a time sink. You know what I mean? Next thing I know, the wife's yelling, yeah, hey, you've been down there for 4 hours. What are we doing tonight or whatever? So it's just so much stuff. Yeah, you can get lost in your stuff. Same with George, I'm sure, once you get digging through everything.
That's crazy. I'm still going through stuff now. It's from upstairs to downstairs because I have the music room and a dining room now, and it's crazy, man.
In a way, though, I mean, I think that's kind of a blessing in disguise because it's like, man, if we had to quarantine here for like 2 weeks, I mean, I would have so many movies to watch and so many books to read. So, I mean, like, I'd be fine, man. I'm cool. I'm okay. You know, we'll be fine. So.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
problem.
That's like a dream vacation.
Exactly. Oh, man. But yeah, I think this would be the next kind of logical step for the VC because, to be honest, you can only watch people showing records for so long.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do doing that. You know what I mean? Which is cool. But like to interact like this, I think is, yeah, I'd like to see more people doing it. And we definitely want to have more people on here and, you know.
What's really strange about is that you watch somebody for so long and then, you know, you don't know them. You know them like one dimensionally.
Right.
If you go and you talk to people, then you realize like, oh, there's a lot I didn't kind of know, a lot of obvious things I didn't know about you because I was only seeing you like this way with like just showing records or whatever. It's like, man, I've been watching you for like years, but I only knew you like this way, you know?
Right.
And I'm always tripped out by that. And I'm always tripped out by meeting people in person that I've been watching forever that I just never met for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So,
that's always a weird,
because there's like it generates a conversation.
Yeah. Meeting VC people is always like a weird thing. There's like the first time you meet, there's that 10-second hesitation when you first meet. And then it's like old friends from, you know, all your life. It feels like, but it's always that weirdness when you first meet. You know what I mean? Like the first time I remember meeting Corey or George, even, it was like, but then it was like, boom, you're just right into conversation and everything's great. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
So
old friend of mine recently passed away. He was 40 years old, and we were really good friends from when we were kids.
I saw your video you were talking about. Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
It was a hell of an experience. Man, it sucked. But when I went back home, you know, we were in a band together in high school and stuff. I've known him since I was like 7 years old. Mm-hmm. So I went back home and I was like, meet all these old guys that I've known forever, you know. And they all look different and stuff. So I was like, oh, who are you? Like, I introduced myself to a guy I've known my whole fucking life. He's got a long ass beard now and stuff. And I was like, hi, I'm Zach. You know, my real name's Zach, by the way, not Zeke. You know, and he was like, they just call me Zeke. Everybody's always called me Zeke, you know, my friends and stuff. So he was like, Dude, I've known you. We detasseled corn together and when we were 9 years old or something like that. Like, oh my God, I didn't know it was you, Brandon. You know, I didn't know anyway.
Yeah.
But it was so cool to be around people that long, that you've known that well and stuff,
Yeah.
And, but it is kind of cool when you meet people in the VC that you've kind of been watching for years and you're like, I kind of know you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And think about it. I mean, a lot of us, you're going on 8-10 years. A lot of us have known each other this way. You know what I mean?
I've done it since 2011.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and in a lot of ways, it's like, I guess it's wasted time and money, but in another way, it's kind of like, it's enriched my life in a way that I couldn't have foreseen too. So it's hard.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, there's like a handful. I mean, I consider a lot of people in here, friends.
Mm-hmm.
There's a handful, that are really tight that we talk all the time, even to this day, I'm not making videos anymore, but we still text once a week or something. Hey, what's up? So it's just lifelong friends. I think they'll end up being,
Yeah.
So now your main thing is like, I know you're a big 70s guy. You like the obscure 70s stuff and leaning back into some of the psych stuff in the 60s and all that.
Well, I've never been able to find what I really wanted to find, mostly because I'm cheap and I just always bought stuff cheap, But what I do, I find all kinds of records and everything. But when I really nerd out and lose it is when I find some real obscure 70s rock thing that I never heard of.
Right.
My buddy Steve has actually got tickets to go. He's from Maryland, and Maryland was a huge, center for rock in the 70s and the 80s. And he's got tickets to go see Stars and Angel coming up in Maryland.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I was kind of like,
depending on who's in the band, I guess it might be cool.
yeah, I kind of want to go. I have no idea who's actually in the group now, But recently I had an opportunity to sell merch at a Tesla show here locally. And I got to meet the band and stuff, and I got to go backstage, and then I sold T-shirts, and I loved that, man. It was so much fun, man. It was so much fun. I got to see the show and everything, and then I got a bunch of free stuff, and it was just killer, So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. I mean, I love all it's tons of fun, and but I don't find, and what's funny is a lot of these records that I used to find for nothing are now worth a bunch of money, and so it's kind of like you're saying, it's kind of not fun when you used to find them cheap, and now now they all want huge money for, and some of the times, especially psych records, real low tier kind of quality crap is worth a bunch of money now, and I'm like, yeah, this really isn't even a good record, so
right,
that's not fun at all.
I feel bad for the younger people into it. They're just now kind of getting into it and trying to build a collection. I mean, you can go out and build a collection from flea markets of Fleetwood Mac and Boston and all that shit. But if you really want to dive back in and find some really cool stuff, you got to pay for it now. I mean, I can't believe some of the prices, And like I said, I don't even go out anymore digging. And the last, a couple years ago going out, I was just seeing prices on $5 records to me, and they're asking 15, 20, 25 bucks, It's like,
it's ridiculous.
It's good to be a seller, though. It's really good to be a seller.
Yeah.
Like if you got a box of Fleetwood Mac Rumors, you're gold mine, baby.
Yeah.
You got a box of Thriller and and whatever, you're doing great. And I think about all the times I could have picked up copies of that shit for nothing, and I just was didn't think it, I never thought hey, I should hoard copies of Rumors and Thriller and stuff like that,
But that is crazy. I remember I used to help a friend that sold online. Dave, you remember him, George?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he would have young kids come in and dig through his stuff. I'd be in there packaging stuff up and all that. And I would just lose it, man, because it'd be these younger kids, and they'd pull out whatever, like you said, Rumors, and they're like, holy crap, you know what I mean?
Simon and Garfunkel, man.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, are you really getting excited over that, man? You know what I mean? But it's new to them, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I wish I had a box of Rumors at the shop. We would sell all 30 of them.
Right.
John says,
all sell. You know, they would.
John says you got to be an idiot to start collecting records in 2020, and he may be right. An idiot or rich, one of the two.
Yeah.
I mean, because man, I mean, I look back, I look at my metal collection now, and it's like there's no way. Yeah. The same with you, George. All your stuff, the ACDC and all that. You couldn't put that together today.
No.
You'd have to. It's just, I don't know.
You'd have to be pretty wealthy and just buy tons of shit on Discogs, I guess. But even then, I don't think you're going to find everything.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. That kind of. I think it's great, but it kind of annoys me because now it's like, well, we'll look it up on Discogs and see what it's worth. It's like, because something sold on Discogs, therefore now this is what this is worth.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's totally crazy, but I mean, I guess technically that's true. It's like, well, like 50 people want it on Discogs and only 2 people have it. And the cheapest one is, you know, VG quality, and it's like $150. It's like, so that's what it's worth.
Yeah,
I guess. I guess, but you know, people are out there finding this for $1 all the time. So that's just
right.
You know?
But what's even worse is when somebody prices by eBay, not even the sold stuff, just what people are asking for things. And
You know what I
that's
compare it to?
crazy.
I think it's like the digital equivalent of the old like record collector guide. Be like, let me look it up in the book, and the book says it's worth this. You know,
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing. You know, exact same thing.
Or you hear, oh, it's not even in the book. It must be really rare.
Yeah.
What's in the book?
It doesn't work that way.
But
So
what's funny is when you actually sell records, you realize that like 99% of everybody wants everything cheap. You know, 99% of everybody who collects records is looking for cheap stuff. You know,
Yeah,
right.
for sure.
So I always killed when I sold records because I sold like $4 copies of Simon and Garfunkel and James Taylor, and it was like, man, you know, that stuff just sold like hotcakes.
Mhm.
And it was stuff I picked up while I was looking for good, cool records. So I would just pick them up, you know, at the thrift store or whatever, because I knew I could get $4 for $1 record or whatever. And they always sold. You know. So,
Dude, I've set up at two record shows now over the last year. I'm weeding the collection out. So I basically went through just the standard rock stuff, and it was nothing. Yeah, it was just oddball stuff. You may have got some stuff off of me. I can't remember.
I bought some records off you when you were doing that.
Yeah,
I know you thinned the herd a little bit.
Yeah, so I had 8 U-Haul boxes. You know what I mean? That fit the records, or records fit into. I took those in twice now, and I just put on there 3 for $10, and they went apeshit crazy, man. Just yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was like, holy crap, am I selling these too cheap? And I'm looking at them going, nah. I mean, most of the stuff I picked up at flea markets for 50 cents or $1.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it I may have bought for $5 to try out, but for the most part, I'm just kind of breaking even. I wasn't really trying to make a bunch of money. I was just trying to make some space, you know, and get some money in to buy some other stuff. And man, they went nuts.
If you get rid of 100 records and buy one you really want, you know.
That was the bad part, because there's always a metal dealer there. So it's like half of what I make makes its way over to his table. And I'm like,
I would say every $1 I ever made selling records, I just turned around and bought something I would have rather have.
So, but it's better to get rid of.
Sometimes that's your opportunity, you know. I mean,
yeah, like you said, it's better to get rid of a couple boxes and then come home with a stack like that. You know what I mean? And
that you actually want,
right? Make some space.
Just thin in the herd, you know.
Yeah. I need to do it some more. I got probably like 8 more boxes together here, so waiting on the next show.
Yeah.
Once the coronavirus goes away.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Corona sale, vinyl sale. But I see you post like you'll go through little, or I guess you'll come across like a little stack of like metal records. It kind of cracks me up because I don't think of you as a metal guy, but every once in a while I'll see you like post an old 80s metal.
I love metal. I would say that I've never been able to find metal records. And I mean, honestly, I moved here in 2016, and in DC there's a lot of metal records and a lot of punk records.
Yeah,
that's the only place I've ever, and I don't live there. I'm 3 hours away from DC, you know, so going up there, like I just find them all the time, you know, and that's the only time I've ever found the old metal records, the old punk records in the wild. And even then, they're not cheap. But you might find it. You might find an original Death album there or something like. And I mean, I never see those anywhere. I never see them. I look for records everywhere, all over the country, everywhere I go. I never see that stuff. I mean, I just don't. I might see kind of lesser known stuff, but even then, man, it's getting kind of hard to anywhere. Every time I go in a record store, if I go to the metal section, they're just really hard to find, man.
Yeah, we know.
I mean, the metal guys of the VC really sustained me for a long time. That was truly. I loved watching all this stuff because I can never find those records.
Julie's home.
Yeah, everybody's going nuts.
Good. This might be a good place to end it because I gotta actually take off unless you guys can end it. Can you end it on your end?
I don't think so. And actually, Julie's home, so I'm about ready to roll too.
Thank you guys. I can't believe this has been an hour.
I know. We always say we're going to try and keep it around an hour 15. But tonight I have to take. I know if I didn't have to take off, we'd still be here an hour.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely want you back on, dude. Like I said, just the bullshit about records is great.
All I did was waste. I was the most boring guest probably ever. But thank you guys so much.
No way, man.
They're all boring. I mean, did I say that out loud?
Yeah,
that's it.
Just kidding, guys.
It's the blast, man. It's cool talking to the older VC guys and we get an idea of their history and all that. So
that and where they are now.
Yeah. And now we got that out of the way. Next time we can just bullshit. So
I like the hanging out aspect of it. It's tons of fun. As I was watching Vance, I mean, it was tons of fun. So
yeah.
Right, thank you guys. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks a lot. Thanks
everybody.
Okay.
Oh damn, he split.